My name is Dina Gentili, by the way, and I am the director of college events and programming. And I'm really excited today to share some ideas with you and some strategies with you as we kind of embark on looking at all of the impact values and goals that we have for you. So I'm actually going to share my screen with you. Okay. And let me see, can someone give me a thumbs up if you can see this, which I think you can. Okay, awesome. Okay, so, and I know you can see the people who are kind of entering the weight room as we go through this. So my name is Dina Gentili, and I just wanted to share a little bit more about who I am and my journey, because I want to let you know that everyone here has a story. And when we look at some of the things that we're trying to do as soccer players, there's a lot more that happens with us off the field that we have to recognize and celebrate. And when we talk about some of the core values and the goals that each club has for you and what the Impact League has for you, we have to reflect internally to think about who am I and where do I want to go? So we are going to be doing some exercises today to learn a little bit more about ourselves. So I just want to give you a couple of things about who I am, okay? As a player, I want to tell each of you that when I was growing up, I played a lot of sports. I didn't specialize in one sport over another sport. But my love was always soccer. I was actually better as a player in softball, but I wanted to play college soccer. And I didn't have a lot of college coaches looking at me. I played for my senior year. I ended up playing for one of the, back in the day, there weren't a lot of clubs. So I played for one on Long Island, New York, where I was from. And I remember the club coach coming to my house, asking my parents if it was okay for me to play club. That's how unique it was back then. We're talking a long time ago. And so they said, sure, you can play. And I did. And that's when I started getting some looks from college coaches. My parents were not college educated, so they didn't really know about the college process. And that's why I'm really excited to share some opportunities with you so that you can have kind of the world really at your fingertips if you want to. When I enrolled in college, I went to Adelphi University. I enrolled without knowing if I was going to make the soccer team or not. So I enrolled as a walk-on. I had zero scholarship money, but I did get an academic scholarship. So I felt like that was a good thing for my parents. When I went on to that soccer field the first day of preseason, I had something in me that knew I was ready. And that something in me was that I trained really hard over the summer before stepping on that field for preseason. And after the first session, I actually ended up talking to the coach because I felt like I was good enough to be on this team and to be a scholarship player. Now, I had a lot of guts and I have no idea why I did that, but I'm glad I did. I ended up being an All-American. I ended up being the leading scorer for the entire program. It's since been broken. But my point in telling you this story is that you don't always have to be recruited to make an impact. And if you are recruited, you still have to make an impact. So my whole focus when I was a college student athlete was to make sure that I did everything the coach wanted me to do, fitness-wise and in the classroom. So I really parlayed my love of academics into my current position. So I'm a professor of sport management at Endicott College. I also started the coach education program there, and now I'm starting the esports management program there. I also coached at Endicott. I ended up coaching youth soccer, high school soccer, and club soccer. And I'm a parent, and I think that makes me very unique also for this position because I have two children. I have a sophomore in high school, and I have a seventh grader. And so I understand what it's like to navigate school, sports, friends, and everything in between. So I want to put up a couple of things here for you guys to contact me and stay in touch with me. So you all should be following me on Instagram. Why? Because I'm having a great time with it. If you haven't noticed, I've been posting and reposting a lot of information So I hope you guys can all follow me on Instagram. And then if you want to email me, I just created my own Gmail account, drdinaimpact@gmail.com. And I'm hoping you can connect with me there as well. So what are we going to do today? Okay, let me just let Hannah in. Today, we're going to go through a lot of things that will help prepare us for the May 15th College Coach Clinic that we're hosting. If at any time you guys have a question, because I can't really see everyone at the same time while sharing my screen, just unmute yourself and ask it, okay? So one thing is that I don't want you to be shy about what we're doing. So we have on May 15th, the College Coach Clinic. And what that is basically you will be with your team, and we will expose you to the college coaches that we have on staff. And you will go through some training with them and rotate through 4 stations, and you'll get an evaluation. So what I'm going to do is collect information from each of the coaches, and I'm going to have kind of like a generic feedback for all of the age groups. So going into the summer, it's really important us to focus in on things that we can improve upon. And so that's really the intention, is to expose you to college coaches, how they train soccer players. It could be people that you've never worked with before. It could be your coach right now, but you'll rotate and you'll get a chance to work with our college coaches on staff, along with other staff coaches that we have. And so I really wanted to be able to meet with each of you before we kind of get into it, because we do have specialized virtual sessions that I've created for you. So this is one of them. And then we will also have guest speakers who will be with us starting on Tuesday. So again, this virtual session is the first, and then we'll have some on the field opportunities as well. I'm going to stop share and then share again, because I think we had someone who was kind of going on the slide. So let me stop share so I can see all of you. So before I go on, does anyone have any questions at all about May 15th or anything that I talked about? Anyone? Just unmute yourselves. It's okay. So you're probably wondering, what's the schedule? That's going to be coming out soon. We just kind of finalized the schedule, the field space, and what if you can't make it? Well, I understand that everyone's going to have a conflict. Even tonight, as an example, we're not going to have every single person here. We will be recording this event and the other virtual sessions we have. And if you can't make it to the field sessions, you'll still get information from us, but hopefully the commitment can be there that you'll make it. Does anybody have a question so far? Okay, does everyone have their cell phone handy? Okay, good. Okay, and if you don't, can you get a piece of paper to write some stuff down? So either your cell phone where you can text yourself or use notes, okay, or I'm going to share my screen again, clear that up, or a piece of paper to write some stuff down, okay? Okay, so let's get into it. So one really big thing for me is, again, exposing you all to professionals in the field. So this Tuesday, Janelle Humbard, she is a nutritionist and a dietitian, and she is going to talk about female nutrition. Okay, she's someone I've known over the years. I just worked out with her this morning, and she's fantastic and really excited to be part of this journey. On Monday, May 3rd, we have Stephanie Smurl, who is the athletic director at Lesley University, and she was my former assistant coach way back when at Endicott College. She's coached both men's college teams and women's college teams. She's going to talk about mental preparation. And then on Monday, May 10th, we have Dr. Sean Latta. Sean Latta was my mentor. So if you were at the first session and I said there were people who impacted my life and influenced me to go into coaching, Sean Latta, she was that person for me. So I really cannot wait for all of you to meet her, because she really is actually probably one of the most prolific speakers on women's soccer, the women's national team, and Title IX across this country. So it's really a special opportunity for all of us. Okay, so our values, as a reminder, and good thing I'm not giving you a quiz from last session, but these are our 4 values. You never know, I might have a contest on some of the things that I'm going to be bringing up. So these are the values we talked about when we kind of launched the league. Pride, having pride on the field when you're with your teammates, when you're with your coaches, when you're competing, how you act, how you react, all the things that you're doing off the field. This is all part of your professional, this is your professional brand. Okay. So this is how people are going to see you and describe you and communicate with you. So it's really important to think about who you are and who you want to become. Empowerment and legacy building, I kind of highlighted in red because these are the 2 values that we're going to speak to today. Player development, I can only do so much from the Zoom sessions for player development, but when we have those on the field events, that's when you're going to be able to really develop yourselves physically and mentally and psychologically when you're out on the field and going through your training regimen. And your coaches are doing this every single time they're with you. Okay. Human development is what we're going to be talking a little bit about today. So this could be your interactions with other people. It could be even your interactions with coaches. Okay. So with your parents too. So when your parents are cheering for you, when your parents are talking to you on that car ride home, like how are you embracing that? How are you digesting all of their feedback, which I know is tough sometimes. Okay. But all of that relates to developing yourself. We're going to talk about professional development. We're going to go through a few fun activities in a little bit. And I'm going to touch upon a LinkedIn strategy with you. And I'll explain why it's important, even if you're 12, to start to think about your professional development. Legacy building for me is huge because what it is giving back to things that you love. Soccer has given me all the opportunities in the world. Without soccer, I'm not sitting here on Zoom with you. Without soccer, I don't have the job I have at Endicott College. You know, without soccer, I'm not meeting all the friends that I have met through the years. And without soccer, I'm not connecting with young people to people who have kind of progressed through our program. You might not realize it right now, but you're part of our legacy as trailblazers. You're the first to make an impact for your club and through this league. This is a phenomenal opportunity. And I know you don't get it because you're not kind of looking back now, but when you're a little bit older and you reflect a lot more, you guys should be very proud of what you're building for yourselves and for everyone else. 5 years from now, there's going to be 5 classes of people, 5 classes of teams, 5 classes of clubs going through this. And then inspirational change is what we talked about in our first Zoom session. And this is going to be relating more to giving and serving your community, which we'll get to in another session. So let's get to work. All right. So listen, I am an educator. And when I'm coaching, I teach. And when I'm teaching, I coach. Okay. So we've got to do some work today. So I want to ask you a couple of things. I want you to think about this. What is your journey? What is your story? So my journey, getting me here, I have to say it was because of my family. So my family unit is very integral to my journey. My brother, who's 3 years older than I am, is deaf. And so when I was growing up, I had to fulfill a different kind of role because he had to read lips. He didn't speak like everybody else. He was a phenomenal soccer player, maybe almost better than me, maybe. And he challenged me all the time to become a better person because he didn't have all the attributes that I had. And so when I look back at my journey and I think about what changed me, what shaped me, I have to say it's my relationship with my brother, because when he was getting extra tutoring and speech therapy, I was always hiding under the table listening. And I think that really made me appreciate learning and education. And also I think it made me more compassionate as well. So I want you to think about right now, one example of your journey. Like, what changed you? What is one thing that changed you in your, it could be in growing up, it could be your family unit, it could be a mentor. What is one thing that changed you? Can everybody kind of write that down for me? I'm going to see if I can make my screen bigger so I could see everybody. So what is your journey? I see a couple of people writing things down. Great. What is your story? So I'm going to continue talking. So my brother really was a better soccer player than I was, except when he got to high school, he tried out for the team, and the coach told my parents that the coach didn't want to have someone who was deaf on the team because he didn't want to have to change the way he communicated with his team. It was really sad. So my brother stopped playing soccer in high school. So that changed me because I felt like I needed to carry on the soccer legacy for us. So, and I have to say, I probably should tell my brother that story because I've never told him that. Okay, does anybody want to share a part of their story? Anybody brave enough to share something that changed you? Just an example. Anybody? Just unmute yourself. Who's got it? Anyone? Should I call on somebody? Bridget, what do you have? Bridget N. from South. Where are you from?
South Shore Select.
All right. What do you got, Bridget?
This is probably a pretty cliche answer, but I wrote my internet connection and learning to connect with people all over the world and understanding their stories through social media.
That's fantastic. I didn't expect that response. So thanks for sharing. That's great. Anybody else want to give it a go? Anyone? Okay, it's all right. You'll have your turn. Next thing I want you to kind of think about are what are your goals? So I'm a big fan of setting goals for myself. I'm a big proponent of having people think about what they want to accomplish. So what I want you to think about for a second is academically, okay? So academically, what is a short-term goal? A short-term goal could be over the next few months. What do you want to accomplish, okay? Over the next few months, what do you want to accomplish? And some of you still don't have your cameras on. Feel free to put your cameras on. What do you want to accomplish short-term academically? Okay, and then I want you to think about maybe 2 years from now, 3 years from now, what do you want to accomplish academically? Okay, and just write it down. What I have found is when you write down your goals, you tend to look at it again. So that's why I said you can text yourself, you can have it in your notes, or you can write it down, okay? So when you write something down, you have a tendency of looking at it again. So I typically have like a notebook where I write down my goals. And then I go back to that notebook every once in a while and I'm like, okay, yeah, I did do that. Or no, I didn't do that. So I change it, okay? So goals are really important to set because sometimes you'll never reach your goal, okay? So you're probably saying, well, why is that a good thing? It's a good thing because if you set your goals high, right, and you chip away academically, whether it is taking more AP classes, whether it's taking a class with a teacher that is really challenging, okay? When you set your goals high, you will take all the steps that you need to try to get there, and sometimes you do. Sometimes you get there, and sometimes you don't, and that's okay, but you're getting so close to that goal. So I want each of you to kind of think about your academic goals, short term, what do you want to do? And then 3 years from now, what do you want to do, okay? I also want you now to write down what your soccer goals are. So we just started the season. I want you to write down what your performance goals would be. So what do you want to do on the field? And it could relate to games or it could relate to practices. So what is a goal for yourself on the field, short term, so this season? And then what are your goals 3 years from now? Okay, what do you want to do? So this will be different because we have some people here who will in 3 years be on a college campus. We have some people here that might be 12 or 13, okay? And then in 3 years be looking at some colleges. So we're gonna be a little bit different in terms of what our goals are, okay, soccer-wise. Can your goals be wrong? Absolutely not, okay? So goals should set a course of action for all of you. They should drive you, they should motivate you, they should pump you up. Does anybody want to share a short-term goal soccer-wise with all of us? Anyone?
I was gonna say like getting better at 1v1s.
Who is that, Sydney?
Yeah.
Sydney, well done. So getting better at 1v1s, okay? So when we break it down like that, you're so specific that I bet you will get closer to getting better at your 1v1. So do you feel like it's more offensive or defensively that you need to improve?
Offensively.
Okay, great. Even more specific. Good. How about a long-term goal? Who's got a long-term goal? So if I was 17 right now or 16, you know, my long-term goal would be, you know, I want to try to find a college that I fit in academically and athletically. And that's not a bad thing to kind of have on your radar. It could be maybe to play a certain position. It could be even more playing time that you're already getting. Okay. So your goals can't be wrong, but I really believe that we need goals. Okay. I really do. And then we will get into a little bit more in terms of professional goals, but academic, soccer, professional and career, you know, I don't even know what I want to do yet when I grow up. I just know I want to be around people. Okay. I know I want to be around people. So when you think about what you want to do for a profession, I always say, think about what you like. And do you want to be around animals? Do you want to be around children? Do you want to be around adults? And those things will help frame what you might end up doing. All right, this one is my favorite thing to do. I want you to ask this to people that you know. So I want you to jot this down. This is like homework, okay? If you had to describe me in only 3 words, what would they be? Okay, so I want you to do homework, and I want you to ask parents. I want you to ask your teammates. I want you to ask classmates what words that they would use to describe you, okay? Because this is so revealing. And before you do that, I want you to write down 3 words that you would use to describe yourself. What are 3 words that you would use to describe yourself? Okay, so take a moment and why don't you write down those 3 words? And it's hard, so maybe you only get 2 words, okay? And then you come back to it. But 3 words to describe who you are. And it's really a fun exercise to do, especially when you get the feedback from other people and you start to realize, you know what? The way you see yourself might be a lot different than the way others see you. So for me, the words I would use for myself is shy, introverted, and nervous. Okay. Now, a lot of people would say, how are you shy? You're doing all this stuff. I'm shy. Okay. I'm shy. I always have been. But I find a way to get out of my comfort zone because I love people that much. But I'm an introvert. An introvert means kind of, I like to stay at home and do my own thing. But when you put me in a social situation, just like if you put me on the soccer field, things happen, right? And I bet it's the same for you as well. And then the other thing is I'm always nervous. Like I'm always nervous about what people think of me. Always, always. I'm always nervous. Could I have done this better? Okay. Even if I text somebody and they don't text me back right away, I'm like, oh my gosh, did I say something wrong? Okay. But if I ask people to describe me, I bet they wouldn't even use those words. So it's a great exercise of learning about how people view you, how you view yourself. And then there might be a gap, and that's where you fill it in. One thing I like to bring up is branding, right? So all of us are on social media. We see all the stuff. We see professional athletes. We see celebrities. And they have like a certain image that they are portraying to everyone else. they're controlling what they're showing other people. When we start to get involved in our professional development, we need to start to control what people see about us, okay? And that's why social media is very important to us. And I'm fine with social media and young people having social media because I think it's a way to get information. I think it's a way to share things, but I also think we have to be smart about the things that we're sharing, okay? So when we think about things that are important to us, we need to start to think about what brand are we? Who are we to other people? Who are we potentially to college coaches that will see us, okay? And so one thing that, and we don't have to do this today because I know I need to stay on track with time, but one thing I'd really like to do is have people create a list of things that you're doing, okay? Because eventually when you do start your LinkedIn page, or you do start your resume, or you do start your activity list when you're applying to colleges, you need to think about what you're doing outside of just soccer, okay? So what scholastic clubs are you part of? Are you part of the art club? Are you part of Model UN? Are you in honor society? Are you doing stuff with Top Soccer? Are you volunteering at a food bank? Okay, you need to start to create your own list because you will forget what you do if you don't. Okay, so if you start now creating your list and kind of go back a couple of years, okay, depending on when you started middle school, and you should be involved in different things, your list is really important. Can I just get a show of hands of how many people are involved in clubs or activities at their school? Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you are. Okay, great. How many people, thanks for the virtual hand wave. How many people are nervous about getting involved with clubs and associations or clubs and organizations on your school campus? Raise your hand if you're nervous about it. So let me tell you something. I was nervous today to get ready for this. I wrote notes, rewrote notes, went through this whole thing a few times, but now I'm okay because we're connected, okay? So get out of your comfort zone and get involved in the things that interest you. And so what if you start something and you realize, you know what, this isn't for me? All right, did you give it your best go? If you did, great. And maybe, you know what truly happens 90% of the time is you join something and you like it, okay? And it becomes part of your being. So I encourage you all to do that to start your club and activities list, okay? Okay, the college pathway is really important. So you're playing club ball. Some of you want to play college soccer, and that's great, okay? It's not a slam dunk, okay? It's not the easiest pathway, but I'll tell you what, being on this Zoom shows me that you want to do all you can to learn a little bit more about how to show your best self to the college admissions officers, college coaches, college faculty, okay? The college pathway, because of COVID, has definitely been altered for a lot of student athletes who right now are seniors and juniors. It's been very tough on everyone. So for us to have different events to give those players exposure and everyone else exposure is unique to this league. I am here to anyone who needs help with their college pathway as well. But you know what? I don't really think we throw a blanket over every single college and say, okay, whoever wants us, that's where we go. I think we're very targeted and deliberate in figuring out what schools we like based upon our interests. And that's why it's really important to think about who you are, what you want to do, and who you want to be involved with. So that's why all these clubs and activities are so important in building your brand, okay? And I know I touched upon social media. I'm going to get back to it right now. We all make mistakes on social media, folks. All of us, okay? Everybody does. Now we need to be smart about social media. So I started a social Instagram, right? So I'm Gentilly Impact MPL, but I have my own personal Instagram account as well. The two don't meet, okay? My personal Instagram has all my goofy stuff with my friends, has all my goofy stuff with my family, okay? And then my professional Instagram is basically forward facing, okay? So it's what I want people to see from my professional perspective. I told you I have two kids. So my son, who is 13, is a pretty good basketball player, okay? And I sat him down and we talked about social media, and he has his own Instagram account, and we started kind of his own Instagram account just for basketball only, where I put clips and different things there. So he has all of that when he's ready to kind of review film or show other people for different exposure camps. But it's important to think about what you're showing people, okay? So is it okay to be yourself on social media? Absolutely, okay, absolutely. But you have to realize that other people, if it's not a private account, will see what you're putting out there, okay? So I know you guys all have different accounts for the different things that you do. Just recognize as you get older, coaches will look at your accounts, okay? So be smart about what you are putting out there. I have to tell you one thing is you should celebrate all the good stuff you do, okay? Because social media is great for sharing, and also it collects all the things that you have accomplished. And networking is what we're going to be talking about today. So when we get into the May 15th event is going to be great. And that's your first kind of exposure to maybe networking. You're going to be on the field with college coaches. You should say hi. The way you present yourself to them is important. Your body language is part of networking, okay? When a coach asks you to do something and this is the first time you've been exposed to that coach, a little bit extra hustle goes a long way. So all of this is part of networking. Why? The soccer community is small, okay? So someone's going to call me and say, hey, I see Ella L from Select U14 is part of your Impact League. What can you tell me about Ella? Okay, or let's see, Alex P from South Shore Select 2004. She's looking at my program. I see that you're part of the Impact League. What can you tell me about Alex P? So we're all connected, folks, okay? And it could be Jordan T is at Villanova, okay? And Emma R wants to go to Villanova. Well, Jordan T and Emma can be connected, okay? And everyone can help each other out. So networking is bigger than you think and easier than you think as well. And I know I talked about legacy building, but this is the start of it. Okay, let me get moving. But anyway, does anyone have a question or anything? Anybody, raise your hand or just unmute yourself. Okay, how am I doing, by the way? How am I doing? Can I get a thumbs up? All right, great, thank you. Okay, so LinkedIn we'll get to in a minute. Now, I just want to put up a couple of these graphics here. 27% of college admissions officers have Googled an applicant to learn about them. When you get closer to your junior and senior year, you should Google yourself. What is coming up about you, okay, on the internet? I Google myself a lot, okay, just to see what's out there, okay? Another fact is college coaches, 83% of them and their staff search online for recruits, okay? I bet this number is higher than 83% now. 88% look to Facebook, 82 have used Twitter, 54% look onto Instagram. Now, what is the platform of choice for your age group? What are you guys using right now? Who wants to unmute and tell me? What are we using? Tell me. Abigail.
Instagram.
Oh, Renee, what was that?
Instagram.
Instagram. Okay, Abigail, what were you going to say? Abigail G.
I was gonna say Instagram too.
Okay. So we're using a lot of Instagram, okay? So let's just think about the coaches are using Instagram also. So again, even though we think it's private or you deleted it, it's there, okay? It's there. So we do have to be smart about what we're putting out there. The platform I dislike the most is Snapchat. I dislike Snapchat the most. Let's be smart about Snapchat moving forward as a league, because even though you're like, it disappears, somebody else, and I know you're going to tell me you'll know when someone screenshots it, but someone else can take another device and take a picture of what you put out there. So you have to start to be a little bit smarter about the things that you're communicating to other people. How do you guys feel about Snapchat? Am I right about Snapchat? I am right. Okay, so let's be careful about the things that we're putting out there. Okay. Okay. So why should we have a LinkedIn profile? And again, I will go through all of this with you slowly. And if we need to do another session, we will. There's a lot of information here, but that's okay. I'm the teacher, so I put up a lot of stuff just to keep you guys in check. But anyway, 560 million people are on LinkedIn. It's huge. Okay. If you have a presence on LinkedIn when you are a senior, I think that's a really good time to start really being a little bit more active on it. And you get more access to information about colleges, internships, jobs. Colleges, 2/3 will visit your social media profile, so they're not looking at it as that's like your freedom of speech. I hear that a lot. Well, I could do whatever I want, freedom of speech, that's fine. But if you're putting it out there in public, then they also, the people who are looking at you, making decisions about you, also have the ability to look at your stuff. Social media has helped people too, so that's important. So that's why I say celebrate your good stuff, because it gets out there. 75% of colleges are looking at social media. I actually think it's higher. And I also want to say that college coaches, college athletic departments, there are staff members in charge of looking at social media accounts. Okay. So once you are on a college campus, they want to make sure that you're fitting the culture of their program. So a culture is basically shared beliefs and values. And a coach is recruiting not only the player, but recruiting the family too. Coaches want to make sure the family unit plus the player fits into their system, okay? System of play on the field, but also culture on the sideline. All of that is really important, okay? So, when I was a former college coach and I'm standing on the sidelines recruiting a kid, player, and I hear things from parents, I don't want that parent on my field, okay? So all of this is not only for the students here, it's for everyone, that we always have to recognize that people are watching and listening. So when can you start a LinkedIn page? Really, when you're 16 is when you should. But before that, so 14, 15, 13, like I said, you should start jotting down all of the stuff that you're doing, okay? All of it. So if you're an art club, you should be saving all of your information and create a digital portfolio. Let's say someone wrote a really letter for you or a really nice comment on your English paper. You should save that. Take a picture of it and save it, okay? So you should start a file on your laptop, and it could be called professional development, and take pictures of everything that you've done and put it in that folder, because when it's time to list all of your accomplishments in athletics, academics, and your activities, it's all housed in one place, okay? So you have a lot of things on Google Classroom already, I'm sure, on your Google Drive. So just create a folder, even on your Google Drive. I do it every year. Every year I label a folder 2021, DG accomplishments, and I put all the stuff that I've done there because I forget, okay? So these are things that you can do right now. Here you go, take pictures, videos, anything that you've done in action. And of course, you're gonna have a lot more soccer stuff, but you should be saving it. Anything that you've done to volunteer. So if you bake cookies, if you volunteered to sell things, if you collected socks, collected coats, whatever it is that you did, you need to start creating a list, okay, in a folder. Okay, also, when you're 16, you already have all the stuff now, right? So the work is done. So before you get to that point, you have a collection of information that you can use. Does this all make sense to you guys? Okay, how many people, raise your hand, have started to collect some good stuff, artifacts? Raise your hand. Okay, so we've done already today is you have homework to ask people 3 words to describe you, and then you're going to compare it to your 3 words, okay? and it's good reflection. You have your short-term goals and long-term goals for academics and soccer, okay? And you should start to think about clubs and organizations that you can get involved with outside of soccer to make you a well-rounded person, okay? Because it's not just about soccer. It is not. And it's not just about academics, folks. It's about everything, okay? The social piece has to come into play as well. All right. So this is our LinkedIn page. It's just New England Impact MPL, and we have our social media pages too. I just wanted to put this up here so you kind of have all this information. And again, this has been posted on my Instagram account, and I'll repost this as well. But you really need to follow our social media accounts, because what if I post like an opportunity, right? You're going to miss it if you don't follow us. Or we had a goalkeeper today post some videos, and she tagged me, and she made my day. She tagged me. I felt like a winner. So then I posted that on my story, and that's networking. Okay. So people who follow me now see that we have this talented goalkeeper, okay, in our league. So tag me when you're going through your videos, your photos. I want to be tagged. Okay. And I'll tag you back, and I'll follow you back. And if you don't want me to follow you, then don't accept my request. But if we can build our network and we have things to share, that's how you grow professionally, and you'll learn about more opportunities. Okay. All right. Awesome. Okay. So LinkedIn, I'm going to stop sharing for a second. I'm going to actually bring up the old internet. Any questions at all? Anybody? Any parents have any questions or feedback as I get into the back end of my talk? Anybody?
Yeah, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
At what age, so do you recommend, like my daughter currently does not have Instagram. She's 12.
Yep.
And I'm a little hesitant to have her get it. I'm just curious what your thoughts are. I know you said have 2 separate pages, but just any thoughts around that?
I know it's a tough call, and I think ultimately families have to kind of decide. But hopefully, if someone does not have Instagram right now, that parents can share some of the good stuff in a controlled environment. I have to say, I wish I didn't give my kids like free reign of every social media platform. I'm not going to lie, but now it was a good lesson for all of us, and there's a lot of good talking points. So I think it's tough. There's a lot of peer pressure to have Instagram and all the other platforms. So to answer the question, I think it's a family decision, but I hope that at least your daughter can see the things that we're posting. And then if she understands the rules around social media, and she can show you that she's responsible, I think that's fine. I mean, I think also all of us here probably had our phone taken away from us for some reason or another. Okay. So, it is etiquette, and we have to be smart about what we're putting out there and our use. So I hope I answered your question.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. We'll follow you on my Instagram for now.
Yeah, that's great. And tag me.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
Anybody else? Question, comments, players? Is anyone nervous about social media? Like, I do feel like we're always like, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. Is anyone nervous about social media? Bridget, can you add to that for me?
For me, it's how I portray myself to others. So like a lot of it would be like you were mentioning from an academic stance, but like from like what I liked, what I comment and interact with, it would be how I portray myself to people looking to hire me, enroll me in school. So for me, like I'm really cautious about
Okay, thanks, Bridget, for sharing. Yeah, I mean, I think cautious is a great word, but you also have to live your lives. You mean we're 12, 14, 17, 16, right? And like I said, I'm goofy too with my friends. I totally am goofy, okay? And sometimes, there might be a picture out there that your friends are like, this is so cool. But if you feel uncomfortable with it, you need to speak up and say, listen, you know what? I really want to play college ball, or I'm really looking for this academic scholarship, or, you know, I am the officer for student government. I can't have that picture of me. Okay. And that's okay too, to say those things to your friends. All right. I mean, I was lucky not to grow up with all the social media. I think it's hard, okay, for all of you right now to navigate this. Okay, anybody else? Feedback? What are you worried about? All right. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly go through LinkedIn with you just so you could see what it's like. And I think what I might do is just another workshop with people who are like 16 and over, and we can start to really look at developing the LinkedIn page. Let me just get out of this for a second, okay? All right, hold on. All right, can everyone still see my screen or no? No. Okay, now you can, correct? All right, thanks. So when you log on to LinkedIn, it's just linkedin.com, right? And just like anything else, you got to join. But I did want to point out, because I haven't been on this page for a long time, like the opening page. And what's really interesting is that LinkedIn offers a lot of kind of classes. So you can learn about different things to build your profile and to learn different skills. So you could still play around with this no matter what age you are, to kind of think about, oh, what are some things that you could do? Okay, so there's a lot of topics that you can look at to search. Okay, you can find people, you know, you can search for a job. So when you do it, you just do the same thing: email, password, the whole 9 yards. Okay, so 16 and up, and with your parents' approval, you can certainly go on and do this. So I'm going to log in as me. Hold on a sec. I thought I was logged in. Don't worry, you won't see my passcode. But if you do, I trust you guys. Plus, I don't even know it. Okay, and I'm going to show you. I'm actually going to show you. Oh, great. Hold on a second. What my profile looks like. And I'm also going to talk right now as I log on. But I am writing a book on esports management. Okay, and I didn't have a ton of experience in esports management, so I wanted to learn as much as possible. So when I hopped on LinkedIn, I had about, oh, I don't know, like 200 or so people that I was connected with. And now I'm up to over 1,000 people because of LinkedIn. So when I'm up to over 1,000 people with LinkedIn, eventually when you have your LinkedIn page, you also have that group of 1,000 people. You're going to be connected to 1,000 people because I'm connected to 1,000 people. The power of LinkedIn is amazing, okay? So this is our New England Impact MPL page. So if, if you don't have LinkedIn, if parents can follow, connect with us, that would be great, because we will put information here. Eventually, our alum from clubs will join in. And what happens is like, we can have people who work at colleges, and you're trying to look at this college, and maybe the college coach didn't get back to you, and I know them, or an alum is playing for that coach right now. The connections will help you, okay? So these are important things to think about. So I'm just gonna go back to me, if I can. And so when you do go on LinkedIn, you get to change the background just like you would for anything that you do with social media. So this is like my professional book picture, okay, from 2 years ago. I'm not going to change it ever because I like the way I look, okay? So hopefully I don't age. And then this is actually a picture that I love, because this is my house in Maine and I'm proud of it. So that's why I put it here. But a lot of people, my students, would have something like Endicott College in the background to showcase where they're from. And then you get to, there's the edit button. You guys are smart about all this stuff, right? And so you can edit it. You put, if you are not a professor of sport management, you would just put student, okay, at Calhoun High School or whatever school you're at, okay? And then I put a little bit of a description about myself, but you guys aren't there yet, okay? So you don't even have to do these things. You could just start a profile to start making connections. So for me, I put stuff about, my textbook that I wrote. I was getting into esports, like I said. So these are things that were really important to me. I ended up putting information about this event on LinkedIn 3 days ago, and 28 people kind of reacted to it. These are non-soccer people that reacted to this. Why is that important? Well, because again, maybe some of you are going to be looking for an internship or a job, or you might want to speak to someone about a particular field that you don't know anything about. You might want to major in that. And now you have access to these people as well, okay? On LinkedIn, there are a lot of stories based upon what you like, okay? Based upon the things that you're interested in. I really have a ton of esports people that I follow because they have been instrumental in my writing of this textbook. I have used messaging. You can see here, I'm not shy about this, but like I just reached out to this attorney. Hi, Kate, I'm a professor writing a text on esports, and I wanted to include her in a chapter. And she wrote right back, yeah. And I was like, great, I'll send over my questions tomorrow. Okay, and this is how I've met people. I've met a guy who was the Madden champion, okay, of esports. And he, again, was someone I interviewed, and I did this all through LinkedIn. Okay, never met these people before in my life, but these are the things and these are the opportunities that LinkedIn can provide to you. And I know we're running up against the clock here, but eventually you will have kind of your resume, okay, of things that you do. That's why collecting what you're doing now, like if you work at Market Basket or if you're a babysitter, all those things are part of your experience, okay? So you're not going to have all the stuff that someone who's 50 has, right? You're going to start slow, but even experience could be that you are in honor society. It could be that you're a member of the Minecraft club. It could be anything, okay? Any membership or any leadership could go here as your experience, okay? So I have all of the stuff that I did. My new job, Director of College Events and Programming. Okay, I also teach at Southern New Hampshire. I'm an admissions coach at One-on-One College Consulting. Okay, I've had past jobs at other clubs. I put my education here. Okay, so things that I'm really proud of. Okay, and things that I've accomplished. So LinkedIn is an amazing tool, which we need to all kind of figure out how to use it for ourselves. Okay, so I did want to give you a little bit of an overview, even though we're not maybe there just yet. It just is, again, it's like setting a goal really high. We know what the goal is, and then little by little, we chip away, and we may get there, we may not, but the journey made us better, okay? So sharing this with you is hopefully making you better and kind of making you think a little bit about what are the next steps and how every decision you make now, okay, does impact you. And you know what? You're going to make bad decisions, folks. You're going to make a mistake. You're going to lose sleep at night. 100% you are, okay? And that's called growth and learning, okay? Lessons are learned. Just, I admitted that I wish that I didn't give my kids their cell phones and access to social media as early as I did. It was a lesson learned, okay? Okay, and everything that you do in the classroom, on the field, in your interactions with your peers, you're always going to learn something, okay? Every person you meet gives you an opportunity to figure out who you are and what things are changing within you, okay? We're just trying to provide you a pathway filled with a lot of information to help you think about, wow, this is what it takes. And it's hard work. Things are not going to be given to all of us, okay? We've got to put in the time to make these things happen. So what I want to do now is I want to open up. I know it's 7:59, but for those of you who can stay on, if you have questions, please just unmute yourself to ask a question. I see Carmela, Aztec 2007, the 07 team, wants to go to BU and study science, health, and wants to play college soccer. Great. That's a great goal. So one of the things you have to think about when you kind of have a major in mind is the courses that you're taking. And that's where you need to talk to your guidance counselor or your school counselor. what courses will help me to create the best portfolio when I go to apply to these schools, because they're going to look at your transcript. Okay. What clubs could I be involved with to help me with that? Okay. Anybody, questions? Who's got a question for me? Somebody, come on. A lot of people with their cameras off, so I can't call on you. Zoe, A, you're in my top right corner. Sorry, friend. You have anything to add?
No. Actually, like, so if you like are in middle school and you don't really like have a choice of like classes that you can take,
Yes.
like, what would you recommend doing?
This is what I recommend. If you're in middle school, you definitely need to explore everything. You need to explore everything, and you need to challenge yourself. I have to say one thing. If a teacher comes up to you and says, Zoe, wow, you're such a talented writer, okay? You need to take that information and do something with it. That means maybe you should be in another class where it's creative writing or it's an advanced writing course, okay? So people are giving you feedback all the time. And I think too, as females, we hear it and we're just like, yeah, no, that's not me. Nah, she's not talking about me. He's not talking about me. That's why that exercise, how do you describe yourself? How do other people describe yourself? So important, okay? So as a middle school student, explore everything. And you know, when I know at myself as a parent, I'm like, try this, try that, do it, try it. You never know who you're going to meet, and you never know what good things are going to come from just giving it a try. Okay. You might love it. You might like it. You might not like it. Okay. But at least you know in your heart you gave it a go. All right. Thanks, Zoe. Let's see. Who else? Who else? There's Erin M. and Casey. Can one of you speak to this? Give me a question, feedback.
Sure. So Casey was not here. She was actually at work, and then she came home in the middle, and then had to go upstairs and do some homework. So it's a lot of the things that you're speaking of. I'm a guidance counselor for high school, so I do a lot of this stuff, and I think it's very important that everybody tries something new and is not afraid of failing, because you have to fail in order to learn and grow. And so that's a really big deal in our house, is to try new things, get out there, give it your all, whether it's soccer field, academics, or anything. Give it what you got and walk away and learn something.
Thank you for adding that. And I didn't even know you were a guidance counselor, so thank you for adding it. But you know what? Guidance counselors are so important to the college journey. So you really have to utilize the people at your schools that have helped other people before you. They have a knowledge base that, you know, I don't have, or your parents don't have. So you have to utilize the people around you. And I think that's a strategy that will benefit every single person here today. Carmela, what do you got? What do you think?
I don't have anything else to say, but though I really do want to succeed in college and do lots of studying health, so I can understand like fitness, because I want to do a business someday and want to help other people too.
Well, Carmela, I hope you write down your goal on a piece of paper, and then you slowly look at it and reflect and say, okay, these are the things I'm doing towards reaching that. Okay. And I bet you'll get there. So the power of writing down a goal, I can't tell you enough how important that is. And I'm serious. I actually hand out index cards to my students and have them do it, even though they could do it digitally. Because I think the writing of it and the seeing, and I tell them to put it on their wall as freshmen and to kind of look at it. And some of them come back as seniors and they're like, can you sign my index card? That's how important it is to all of them. Okay. Okay. Anybody have any questions before I let you go? So what we will be doing again is on Tuesday, please come to listen to Janelle Hubbard, who will be talking about nutrition. And she's also a fitness instructor too. So she will add a little bit about that, but her journey and her story is tremendous. And then the following Monday, we have Stephanie Smurl. And the Monday after that, we have Dr. Sean Latta. And this all leads up to May 15th. May 15th, I will have a chance to see you face to face. So I'm really looking forward to that. You haven't even seen me with a mask on, but at least we'll be in the same place and we can celebrate all the good stuff we're doing across all of our clubs and all of our teams. So I just want to say thank you very much for everything, for joining me tonight. And I do hope you can make it to the rest of our sessions, as they're very targeted. And I've been trying to be mindful about the people that we have speaking to you. I'm trying to give you the best opportunities to learn from the people I know who are professionals in the field. So good luck in school tomorrow and all your training sessions. And I will see you on Tuesday.